Hello everybody, today back in another video. Alright, my tennis fans around the world, the Djokovic-Zverev match just ended in a very bizarre way. Novak, after losing the first set, 7-6 in the tiebreak and 7-5 in the tiebreak, he retired. Always surprised, not crazy much, considering that he got himself an injury against Carlos Alcaraz towards the end of the first set. But somehow, painkillers and things like that, he managed to go through that match and win that match in the end in 4 sets. And I've read a lot of comments that some crazy people, according to me, they thought that Djokovic was faking injury. Djokovic is never faking injury. Nobody fakes injury. Why should a player fake injury? This just doesn't make any kind of a sense. Some people I just can't understand how people think. Some people are just lunatics, really. They're lunatics. He's not faking injury, all right? Does he exaggerate injuries? Yeah, it's little, I think he does. I don't think this is a deadly injury. I really don't think, because if it is a very serious injury, you will retire immediately. You will not continue to play tennis, because you can't play tennis. That is a fact. But in this professional level, on this crazy high level, you cannot be 80% like Djokovic was against Alcaraz, and like most likely he was here against Zverev. So I could see that something was wrong during the match. That first set, that only set that we saw. When Djokovic doesn't do fist pumps, when Djokovic doesn't scream, when Djokovic is fired up, you can see two things. It depends on two things. He doesn't believe he will win the match. I've seen this before. I saw that in last year's Australian Open semi-final. I saw that in last year's Wimbledon final against Alcaraz. He was not fired up in those matches at all, because he didn't believe he will win the match. And that was the case here as well. He was much fired up against Alcaraz. Against Alcaraz, he was feeling it, that I can beat this guy. Here, it was not the case. Here he was not smiling, not screaming, not fist pumping, he was not fired up at all. He was sitting on the chair and just was staring at just straightforward nothing. So, and during the match as well, he was blocking a lot of serve returns. He was slicing much more than he usually does. So he had issues for sure. But if he would have won that first set, he would not have retired. And he said that after the match in his press conference. He said that, yeah, I would have tried a couple of games, maybe in half a set, who knows. So that is an indicator to us that if he would have won the first set, he would have continued playing. Anyway, he maybe would have lost even if he would have been healthy, because Sasha Zverev is on his shape of his life. He was serving big, Sasha Zverev. He was playing unbelievable great tennis, but he was not playing against a 100% healthy Novak. So you don't know how Sasha would have been if Novak would have been 100% healthy. But nevertheless, Novak had a titanic road here to beat the world number 3 Alcaraz, which he did, then to beat the world number 2 Zverev, which he couldn't. He retired after the first set, and then going to beat Jannik Sinner, because Jannik Sinner will defeat Ben Shelton. So we all knew that never has a tennis player defeated the world number 3, the world number 2, and the world number 1 to win a Grand Slam title. That has never been achieved. And of course, we all knew that it will not be achieved from a 37 years old as well. Even though that this is not this is not a normal 37 years old. This is the greatest tennis player of all time, one of the greatest athletes of all time, if not the greatest athlete of all time. That can be discussed if he's the greatest athlete of all time, but he for sure is one of the greatest athletes of all time. So we knew that he will not do it. That's why I have said he will not win He will not win another Grand Slam title. Will I be right about that or wrong? Let's see. I think I will be right about that. I did a video that he will not play another Grand Slam final a couple of weeks ago. I thought that Novak will prove me wrong in this match, but I didn't take his tear injury too serious. It was more serious than I thought. But I think that if this would have been a final, I truly believe this I'm 100% sure. If this would have been a final, he would have never retired. He would have played the match like his life was on the line. He would have played the match like he would not play tennis for 4 more months. He would have taken all possible painkillers just to try to go over the finish line. But knowing, and another thing, that if somebody else would have been on the other side of the draw, say Ben Shelton versus Stefano Tsitsipas in another semifinal. I'm just taking examples. He would not have retired today. But knowing that Sinner will most likely be in the final, 99% sure. You can never be 100% sure in tennis, but 99% sure Sinner will be in the final. He knew that. Why bother? Why go this night? Why go through this nightmare? I need to go through this dude who is serving like a monster, and then defeat a guy that I've lost the last four matches out of 5 last meetings that we have played each other. So it doesn't make any sense. I understand. But if that was another dude, if Sinner was not left in the draw, he would not have retired today. And if this was a final, he would never have retired today, because it was manageable to play the match until the last point. It truly was manageable. I truly believe that. But it just was, because he looked tired as well out there. I could see him breathing heavily. He looked tired because he's not super young. That's why people doesn't seem to understand that it is not normal winning majors as old as he is. He did a miracle job to come through a powerhouse like Alcaraz. Alcaraz is a truly unbelievable powerhouse. People forget that. And then go on and take on the world number 2, Zverev, who's playing his tennis of his life, who's serving huge, who's hitting the ball big from the both wings, forehand and backhand. And Novak not being in his peak of his career and also being limited, he was not confident enough to continue. Would he been able to finish off the match? Yeah, he could have finished off the match. Like for instance, I'm going to give you an example. Like Nadal in that 2014 Australian Open final against Stan Wawrinka. Nadal loses the first set, and then Nadal gets himself injured with his back. And there you can see clearly signs. He could barely serve. He had tremendous pain in his back. If you guys remember that final 11 years ago. So, Nadal was a huge favorite in that final. Coming into that final, he was playing some of his best tennis of his life. Nadal in that 2014 Australian Open edition, I remember. I remember I had Nadal as a huge favorite. I just checked another Grand Slam title for Nadal. But Stan Wawrinka played an unbelievable great first set. So he won that first set against Nadal in the 2014 Australian Open final fair and square, where Nadal was 100% healthy. But after the first set, Nadal injured himself. He could barely serve, and he could barely move. But Nadal didn't retire. He played that final until the last point and lost it in the end in 4 sets. It was a miracle that Nadal could win one set in the first place while being injured against Stan Wawrinka. It was not the same kind of a Djokovic in this time. Djokovic moved much better than what Nadal did in that Australian Open final against Stan Wawrinka. Djokovic served. Djokovic could serve. Yeah, he didn't land a lot of first serves. I think he landed only 54% first serves in this semi-final. But he still could move. He did 5 aces, 0 double faults. He won 72% when his first serve, won 60% when his second serve. Did 11 winners, 16 unforced errors in the entire match, if I'm not wrong. So, so he played decent. He didn't play bad. So he could have continued if he wanted, if he believed that he could win the match. Because look, Djokovic is not there to entertain the crowd. It's not there thinking, they've paid a lot of expensive tickets. I should do my job here and play and finish the match, even if I lose in straight sets, even if I lose in 4 sets. Even if I take out this guy Zverev somehow with a miracle, with painkillers, and then even if I collapse in the final, I should finish off this match. He doesn't think like that. Djokovic, he thinks only in one way. He thinks that, am I fit enough? Am I healthy enough to lift that trophy on Sunday? That is what Djokovic thinks. Djokovic doesn't think anything about something else. He doesn't think about something else. He doesn't think that I will entertain the crowd. I will need to give the crowd the value for their money, etc., etc. No. This is not the way that he thinks. He just thinks that, am I fit enough? Am I healthy enough to lift the trophy on Sunday? And who will wait me on Sunday, even if I miraculously defeat Zverev as being 70-80% healthy? It will be the opponent that waits for me on Sunday will most likely be Sinner, because Djokovic knows tennis better than me and everybody of all tennis fans. He knows that Sinner will beat Ben Shelton. So, and he took the decision, I'm out. I will not go through this nightmare anymore. So, how was Zverev in this match, in this first set? Not match, because the match never finished off. He did 8 aces, if I'm not mistaken. Zverev, 1 double fault. If I'm not mistaken, he lands 76% first serve in, which is really huge, which was great. He won 83% on his first serve, Zverev, if I'm not mistaken, which is really, really good. 83. He was rock solid in winning point on his first serve. I believe he won 78% on his second serve, Zverev. So it is unbelievable stuff. And did 24 winners and 15 unforced Zverev. So he did a really clean first set. He does 9 more winners than unforced. But in the end of the day, he played against a limited opponent in Novak Djokovic. Neither of the players broke their serve. They both have chances. Novak had 3 breakpoint opportunities in one game when he was 40-love up in the middle of the first set, couldn't convert. And Zverev had 5 breakpoint opportunities in 2 different games, couldn't convert any of them. So, and then in the end they pushed each other to a tiebreak, and then in the tiebreak Zverev won that tiebreak 7-5 after Novak missing an easy forehand volley, and after that he just threw in the towel and retired. Yeah, it doesn't look good for Novak Djokovic going forward in his career. I don't think he will win any more Grand Slam titles. And some people say, what is the reason why he's being more and more injured? He pulled out on the French Open as well last year after winning in the 4th round. He never played the quarterfinal. In the beginning, he pulled out that quarterfinal match against Casper Ruud before even not playing one single point. And now he retires here at Australian Open in the semifinal after playing 1 set against Zverev. Yeah, you know what I will say now, my tennis fans around the world. Age is undefeated. Age has never been defeated, and it would never be defeated. Nobody can defeat age. And Father Time catches up with everybody, and Father Time is catching up with Novak Djokovic as well. So as older you get, as more injured you get. Just ask Rafa Nadal, just ask Roger Federer. That was exactly the case for those 2 legends as well, and that is what happened to Novak Djokovic. So Novak Djokovic will not. I don't think he will win another Grand Slam title in his career. I truly hope he proves me wrong. I would love to see him lift a 25th Grand Slam title, and I don't think he will go to a Grand Slam final either. But let's see if he will prove me wrong. He can't prove me wrong about that Grand Slam final. He really can't do that. I thought that he will prove me wrong today. If I would have known that he's not healthy enough, and if I would have known that his hamstring was more serious than I thought it was, I would have never predicted him to beat Alexander Sasha Zverev, who is playing his tennis of his life. So, in the end of the day, I think it is good that Zverev came through, because Sinner has had a cake of a draw. Really, he has had a cake of a draw in his entire tournament. He has not played against one. He has not had tremendous tough opponents to his way to the final. So Sinner's absolute biggest test and Sinner's absolute biggest opponent before lifting that Australian Open title will be Alexander Zverev in the final. A player that Sinner has lost many times against, but he did that mostly when Sinner was not the beast that he is nowadays. So it was just, if Djokovic would somehow go through to that final and being banged up like he is, I think that Zverev somehow is a bigger threat, because Zverev is at least 100% healthy. He's not banged up like Djokovic is. So, but I still don't pick Zverev defeating Sinner in that final. I had actually Sinner and Zverev facing each other in that Australian Open final when I did my preview 2 weeks ago. So, but is it someone who can defeat Sinner in that final? It is Zverev. So Zverev is playing his tennis of his life. So if Zverev can have an amazing serving performance day with a high percentage of first serves in like he usually have, he needs to be over 70% in landing first serves against Sinner. If he's under 70%, he will not stand a chance. He needs to be over 70%, which I believe he will be. And if he hits the ball big and if he plays close to the baseline like he did against Djokovic here, to be quite honest, he was not super passive against Djokovic, but Djokovic was limited. Djokovic was injured, so I cannot analyze Zverev's game too much. Against Sinner, it will be a completely different ball game. He will not face an injured Jannik Sinner, and if he's facing the world number one Jannik Sinner, he's facing the defending champion Jannik Sinner. And if that was not enough, Zverev has never won a Slam title. He has been in 2 Grand Slam finals before, and lost both of them in 5 sets. Now he will play his 3rd Grand Slam final, and he will play his 1st Australian Open final. So, but if Ben Shelton somehow can do the miracle and defeat Sinner, then Zverev will win for sure his 1st ever Grand Slam title. But I truly don't believe that Ben Shelton will defeat Sinner. So it is. I think in the end of the day, I think it is just good that Zverev went through, and because a banged up Djokovic, I truly believe, has nothing to do in that Grand Slam final. It really has nothing to do. We don't want players that are banged up in Grand Slam finals, especially not against a beast like Jannik Sinner, who is playing like a beast and has played like a beast the last 12 months or so. So, another thing I want to say before I wrap this video out, I truly believe and have the strong opinion that the crowd should not boo a legend, an icon like Djokovic, who has won this freaking tournament 10 times. Yeah, he could have continued. Absolutely. He was not deadly injured. He could have continued. But he doesn't want to continue 80% healthy and lose the match. He knows that against a player like Zverev, who is the world number 2 and who is playing his tennis of his life, I will not defeat this guy 80% healthy. Why continue this nightmare just to make the crowd happy, just to give the crowd value for their money? Yeah, I can understand the crowd as well in some way, but still, you should not boo a player like Djokovic, who has given the crowd, who has given the tennis world so much during a 20 years career. So that is a big mistake from the crowd, and they should feel ashamed of themselves, really. They should not boo a guy like that. That is really, really bad, And I really didn't like when the crowd was booing Novak Djokovic after he retired after the first set against Alexander Zverev in this Asalopa semi-final 2025. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and see you next time. Peace!